OMG's boys, girls in between us, how are you? Redgam here, back with another Street Fighter V video because the game is finally launched! It's here! It's glorious! I'm playing Cammy, we got Chun-Li here, we got different outfits, colors, I'm pink. So very pink. It's amazing. The reason I'm making this video is that trust me, there is no shortage of videos out there trying to teach people who have not played Street Fighter before or are still very new to it how to play Street Fighter Online, because playing Street Fighter Online is a very different beast to what you get when you're playing against a real person, or against a computer rather, I should say. Playing against a computer is easy, playing against real people, not so much. So there's plenty of tutorials that will tell you from the get-go how you're supposed to play this game, how you're supposed to learn all your buttons, that's what they all do, what different animations they have, what they do in different contexts, all that kind of thing. You know, what your V trigger is for, you know, supers, all that kind of thing. So and trust me, there are plenty of those out there, and I will even link to one or two in the description below if you are after a really methodical and scientific way to approach learning Street Fighter V. And I appreciate that and I understand that. But I have friends who, they just want to play the fucking game. They don't want to go into training mode and spend hours upon hours in training mode, learning their combos, you know, learning stuff like this, or stuff like that, things like that. They don't want to spend hours upon hours doing this really dry, repetitive stuff. They just want to get in the game and play, and I can appreciate that. Now, it's not for everyone, and it's not really the way you should learn. It's the way that I learned, because I had no one to teach me how to play Street Fighter. If you're on the fence, I would say, you know, look at those other videos that I have in the description below as well. Kind of decide for yourself which one you want to have as kind of your mentor for your spiritual journey on Street Fighter V. But if you decide that you just want to play you just bought it today, you just got home from work or school or whatever, and you just want to fucking play, these are really just some guidelines for how to play against real people online that are very different from playing against a CPU. All right, part one is jumping. Now, a lot of people, when they start playing this game, myself included, jump a lot. Like, they'll jump everywhere. They'll jump back, they'll jump forward, they'll jump on the spots. They'll jump in for every attack, because jumping in for attacks is great because there are easy ways to start combos. Like, jumping heavy kick is an easy way to start a combo if you can figure that out, which we'll get to in a little bit. And they'll just jump everywhere. And jumping, anyone will tell you when playing Street Fighter, jumping is a bad idea. It's a bad idea because we have things called anti-airs, and Street Fighter has always been about the anti-airs, which I'm going to show you here. So I set up some recordings earlier, which I will show you now. So this should be one of Chun-Li jumping and kicking. Nope, that's a different one. Curse the commentator. Alright, let's try number 2. You wanna jump at me? Yes! So Chun-Li is going to keep just jumping in for an attack. Now, if that hit me, obviously that would suck. But I have anti-airs. Back medium is an anti-air. Stand heavy kick is an anti-air. If I time it right. Yeah, like that. Or even just a special move being cannon spike, which I'll show you here. So these are all moves that are designed wholly and solely to beat jump-ins. And they will do it every single time. As I said, they are designed categorically for that purpose. So they will just beat the living crap. She can't touch me. Doesn't matter what I do, she just can't touch me. And even worse, you see that crush counter there from the heavy kick? That's a new mechanic in Street Fighter V called crush counters, which will actually set you up for big punishes, like so. So you can get a huge punish off that, if you know what you're doing and if you're ready for it. So that is why you really shouldn't jump. Let's just turn this off while we keep going. I think I've made my point. So Chun-Li's back to being herself, which is doing nothing. So that's the reason why you shouldn't jump. Now, having said that, I'm going to tell you to jump as much as you want. Because, and that's the thing that a lot of players will tell you, you know, don't jump, but they want to teach you how to be high level right away. And I think there's a slope, there's a gradient to being high level. You should be able to play how you want until you realize that the level that you're at is not where you want to be. And then you're ready to move up to the next stage, which is jumping less. So all I'm going to tell you is that, like, you know, especially when you're at range, you can really jump as much as you want. There's not really a whole lot they can do to punish you from here. The only thing I will say, and jump in for attacks, jump in for them as much as you want, really. Look at that damage. Look at that. Jump in for attacks as much as you want. That said, if they counter you, if you get that anti-air, if you get that Shoryuken, if you get that crush counter, stop it immediately, because it means they're on to you. They are on to you, okay? And if they're a good player or even a halfway decent player, they will keep doing it until you learn to stop. So save them the trouble and save yourself the life, and just don't fucking jump if you get caught out. Or even, you know, don't even, like, you can jump again maybe a little while later, maybe in the next round, or maybe after you've given them some time to condition them to do other things, but just don't keep fucking jumping is what I'm trying to say if you get punished once or twice, okay? Let's move on because we've got a lot of stuff to cover. So, let's talk about combos. Combos! So, you've already seen a few here, but, and this is the big thing about fighting games is that everyone wants the big combos. And you're not always going to get the big combos, especially when you're first starting out. I mean, obviously, you know, again, I've showed you this stuff before. I don't know all of Cammy's combos yet. There's only a couple that I know. Yeah, there's another one. Things like that. Combos are great, but you don't have to know them right away. Street Fighter is a game about, not so much in this version, probably more in Street Fighter 4, but still in this version it is very relevant that it is death by 1,000 cuts. You can win just as effectively by hitting them, you know, and just whittling down their health with regular punches and kicks as you can with landing a big combo. Big combos just help you get there faster, which is good. That said, if you want to learn a combo, there's two ways to do it. The most easy ass combo that you can do in the entire world, and this does involve a jump, and this will work for any character. It doesn't matter whether you're picking Ryu or Zangief. I don't know about Dalsim, but for most characters at least, this will totally work. This is like the first combo I ever learned, I'm pretty sure it's the first combo that most people ever learned, is jumping heavy kick, crouching heavy kick. Jumping heavy kick, crouching heavy kick. That's it. It does surprisingly good damage and stun. If you look at the stun meter, which is below Chun-Li's health bar, it actually does. It just did about 1/3 stun damage to her in 2 hits, which is actually pretty fucking good. And did a decent chunk of life as well. So if you don't know any other combos, you can mash it. Like, you know, you can hear me woofing them buttons, and it totally hits every time. It's really hard to fuck up. So again, if you have never played a fighting game before in your entire life, and someone has given this to you as a means to prepare you for the oncoming war against the global elites, which I'll get into later. No, I won't. I really won't. That's a great combo to start with. If you want to start with something, and then if you want something a little bit more advanced, usually the next step is to go jumping heavy, crouching medium into something else. You know, if it's Ryu, you can do a fireball or a DP. In Cammy's case, we can just do a spiral arrow, things like that. So that's the next progression after the jumping heavy, crouching heavy. So those are just a couple of basic combos. Like I said, they'll work with any character. You know, it'll work with Chun-Li if we swap over to Chun-Li. Let's go to here. Jumping heavy, crouching heavy, 2 hits. Works like a charm. All right, so let's move on from there. So let's talk about throws. So throws are generally considered, especially by people who used to play in the era of Street Fighter 2 and whatnot, to be very cheap. So throws are your light punch and your light kick together at the same time. You get that. Now you can press forward and you'll get that animation, or if you want to throw them behind you, you just hold back when you press it and she throws it behind her. Throws Chun-Li. She's a lady. Throws Chun-Li behind her. That's really all there is to it. If you can't block a throw. That's the only important thing to remember, is that you can hit someone out of a throw, but you can't block it. The only way you can stop a throw is with another throw if you press throw at the same time. So that's really all there is to that. Only time, like, if you ever want to use throws, you can use them after a knockdown. After that, if you do that jumping heavy, crouching heavy, and you want to follow up with something different, wait for him to get up, give him a throw. Easy breezy. So yeah, that really covers that. We can go into more in depth in these kind of things later on in future episodes if you guys want them. All right, so let's talk about things that are safe versus unsafe. So what safe versus unsafe means is that if the move is safe, there's a very technical explanation for this, which goes very much into like the amount of frames of animation that a move has. But here's the really simple rule of thumb. The more damage a move does, the slower it's going to be and the less safe it's going to be. That's it. So this is super safe because if she blocks it, if Chun-Li were to block this, if we set her to all block, actually it doesn't even matter, I'm not going to do that. Just take my word for it. If I did this, Chun-Li wouldn't be able to hit me afterwards. But if I do, if we get Chun-Li to do something different, say if we get her to do a like crouching heavy kick, for example. Let's do slot 4, start recording. So crouching heavy kick, big move, very slow. Like compared to a light kick, this is very slow. So, and it does more damage because it's a heavy kick. So if we go back to our playback here, and we'll start up slot 4. Alright, we get knocked over by that. That's what happens when we get knocked over. Watch what happens when we block it. Okay. Oh, we can counter with our own. And she cannot block that. Trust me when I say she cannot block that. So that is an unsafe move. So this is just something to be aware of. I'm not going to go through, you know, specifics of safe and unsafe moves because they vary from character to character, and we're not doing anything specific. We'll probably do a Cammy video later on because she is the first character that I'm learning. But rest assured that basically if a move is unsafe, like for every character, the heavy sweep is incredibly unsafe. It is super duper unsafe. So you really, if you're doing this jumping heavy kick, crouching heavy kick business, if you're doing this and they block the first hit, don't follow up with a sweep because they will be able to punish you straight afterwards. Okay, same as if you get knocked down and you've learned how to do an uppercut or a dragon punch, if you will, or in Cammy's case, which is a cannon spike. Like, there is a risk involved with doing those moves because they are big damage, they're very powerful, but if they get blocked, you're open for the big punish. So, and a punish can be a lot of things, like we just showed you before with the anti-air. You can go straight into super from anti-air. So, just be aware that these are tools that are available to you, and, you know, I'll go into knockdowns a little bit later, but just rest assured, just be aware that if you find a move is getting you punished a lot, that if you're doing this move, it gets blocked and you get hit straight afterwards because you can't block, probably want to rethink doing it as often as you are. Thing to remember about fireballs in this game is that it doesn't matter which character is throwing them, all characters in this game have ways and means getting around them. They have tools. Capcom gave each character tools for getting around fireballs because people complained about that kind of thing. They found it frustrating to try and get in when people were throwing out a lot of fireballs, and this game is designed with new players in mind. So in the case of Cammy, we've got a tool which is a spin knuckle, goes straight through fireballs. Pretty handy. Can do a significant distance and just go straight through it. Other tools, EX spiral, goes straight through fireballs again. And you know, if you're not playing Cammy and have less options available, you can always just jump over the damn things because they have a significant amount of recovery on them. They are unsafe. Fireballs are unsafe in this game. So just be aware that each character will have tools for getting around fireballs, and when you get into an appropriate range, you can even just jump over and kick them in the face. How do you get into appropriate range, that you ask? When people are throwing shit at you and you're trying to jump in and they're doing anti-airs and stuff like that? Very simple. Walk forward, block. Walk forward, and block. That's how you do it. They'll be throwing them faster than this. This is a pretty slow speed for fireballs. But that's how you do it. If you're unsure, just walk in and just like this, just walk in, block. And that's all you gotta do to get in there. It's a little bit frustrating, it's a little bit slow, but I guarantee you, it will get you in close. And not only that, your opponent will probably get a little bit nervous because they see that you're not freaking out. You're not jumping around all over the place like a crazy person. You're just walking in and getting up in their grill, and their fireball all of a sudden isn't so safe because fireballs are also punishable on block in this game as well. Not like that because that was too slow. There we go. So again, just little tips and tools for getting around fireballs and how to deal with them, things like that. All right, let's move on to knockdowns. Press right buttons, do right things. All right, recording slot 1 on. All right. So when people get knocked down, I see this a lot. Have you seen this a lot when people get knocked down? They get knocked down and they wake up with jabs, which is one of the worst things you can ever do in your entire life. Now the reason for this is they think it's hard to get in, like this. As you can see, there are ways around it, which I'll get to in a moment, but they think that this will ward off throws. That if they get knocked down, if I go in for a throw, oh, I can't do it because I'm trying to go for a throw. Even after a knockdown, I'm trying to go for a throw. She's knocking me out of it with little punches. So people panic, and they think that getting up and doing crouching, spamming lights will get them out of trouble. And they're right to an extent. It will stop throws because throws have startup like everything else. Problem is that they will lose to a lot of moves, and I'll show you why. as you can see, she's just set to spam on Wake Up. See, we've got a counter hit there. So, if you have a move that's fast enough, and more importantly, you time the move so that it will hit them when they're in the process of getting up, it will beat it every single time. If Chun-Li will stop being a whore. Chun-Li, stop being a whore. Why are you such a whore, Chun-Li? See, wins every time. Alright, let's talk about punishers, guys. So we talked about this a little bit before where we said that you shouldn't do things that are unsafe on Wake Up. Let's just go through a scenario there. Let's pretend that we've knocked down Chun-Li with our big-assed jumping heavy kick, crouching heavy kick, and she wakes up with a EX spinning bird kick. So I've already set that up before, so let's go ahead and play that back now. So I think it's recording assault 1. Let's try that. Yes, it is. So, oh my god, she woke up with that and she wrecked my shit. Very unfair. Do it one more time. So annoying. But what happens when you bait it? What happens when you expect her to do that and bait it out just by blocking? So, as you can see, even when she has set up to block straight away, you can punish severely if you read the movement in advance. So that's just a warning to you that, as I said before, you can do things on Wake Up. You can stop that now, Chun-Li. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but it's okay. It is okay. Off. Alright, so like I said, feel free to do those moves. Feel free to do your Wake Up DPs, your Dragon Punches, your Bird Kicks, whatever. But just be aware that not only do you leave yourself open to a punish like that, but the more you do it, the more your opponent will be ready to block and punish like I just showed you. And most important of all, if you get punished, it's just like jumping. Don't do it again, please. Because they will just bait and punish over and over again, and that is no bueno. So those are just a few things to be aware of in Street Fighter V. I got plenty more of them, guys. If you enjoyed this, if you want more strategies for Street Fighter V, more ground rules that cover strategies for just about any character, really. We can go more in depth in future episodes, but if it was entertaining, despite all the fuck-ups that I had throughout the recording, God, it doesn't happen. It only happens when you're recording, right? Please like, comment. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe because I am making plenty of Street Fighter V content. There are tons of episodes already from the betas. There's videos coming out for trailers, information, things like that, and I will be making ongoing episodes of online ranked matches in addition to these tutorial videos. So that's it for me, guys. Kisses, hugs, belly rubs. I'll see you all very soon.